medical examiner has identified a homeless man.
Firefighters pulled a man's body from this retention pond.
Multi-million-dollar effort to build a community of tiny cottages for the chronic homeless is now in full swing, sitting in the shadow of downtown Dallas.
If you're sitting around, you'll be asked to move on. And, you know, there's no place to go to the bathroom, no place to get any water. The one cooler we did have in Quakertown is gone because the city went after us about that one. They're trying to get us to get rid of the next closest one on McKinney and Bell. Ask me questions, that's easier. Yeah. And if you can get me in a position where my turtleneck's not showing, that'd be great. You look great. I'll try to keep my chin up. I am Jane Piper Lunt. I'm the founder and director of Denton Basic Services Center. We help keep people housed on the edge, and we help the homeless. And our main goal is to build a tiny house village for our homeless. My landlord told me this morning, you got to get all this crap off your porch. We used to be able to take tons of stuff to people in weather like this. We can't find them, you know? And, you know, there were known camps. We can't find, they're not there anymore. Hi. Hello. Are you on the street? Okay, there you go. I'm Jane. Is there anything you need?
As long as you're not Calamity Jane.
Well,
he has not great records of being on the streets. He's a little rough around the edges, but he got.
Yeah, I used to be one of the rough people out there on the streets that you see around the parks and
He's
the
one
library and Denton and stuff. Like, I know all those people out there. I know I was out homeless off and on for 10 years. I was addicted to drugs. My whole life was just in chaos. Yeah. And a lot of the services they have in the Denton area, I mean, sure, they'll help you a little bit, but not like what people need.
Mm-hmm.
But as you can see here, we also have a major amount of jackets. It's very easy to go through jackets when you're living on the streets. I mean, like, stuff gets stained. We got a lot of people that get rained on, get sleeted on. Right here as well. And another big type of clothes we try to hang on to is nicer clothes. We always have to be very careful and on timing. It's one of the reasons why we can only accept places that are, vindicated, official places that have gone through the Texas Health Codes. Staff shelf right here where we have the, where we get some of the most random things that we don't know. That either it's not enough for us to be, we don't have enough to give it out to all of our guests, or it's just such a random flavor we don't think anyone's going to like it, and so we just have the staff be the guinea pigs and try the Mighty Mango naked or something like that. You want me to look at the camera or just past you? It's up to you. Okay. So my name is Evan Suttle, and I work for Our Daily Bread. I'm the volunteer coordinator. Among other things, we all kind of share a lot of duties here, but my job is to mainly manage and supervise all the different volunteer departments, help bring in some more community involvement, and also part of the company development team, where we're trying to get as much exposure and our message and everything out there. We're what's known as low barrier. You may have heard that before, but if you don't know what low barrier means, it means basically you do not. It is not required for you to apply here. We do not require identification papers. If you don't have a social security, or if you don't have a driver's license or papers of any kind, we can still take you as you are. We have case managers that can help you get that sort of thing. We also, if you're under the influence of alcohol or drugs, we will make very certain that you don't have any of that stuff on you, but we will still take you as you are in whatever state you are. Our main job here is to preserve survival for one, but also dignity.
Their immediate problem is we don't have a place to go to the bathroom. I mean, can you imagine what that's like? We don't that's not even a consideration for us. I mean, the fundamentals of what we take for granted is their daily problem. They're in what we call a survival mode. When they go into a shelter or something and they go, okay, what's your housing plan? That's a dream they haven't even thought of in months. But anyways, okay, let me go get your card. And hi, I need a gift certificate, please.
Yes. For how many? For how much?
75.
75? Yep.
Thank you so much.
Oh, that should last you a little while. I don't, but I can go get you something.
You talking about a car race? You want a pop or something?
Oh, a hamburger?
I can get you a hamburger. What you want? Not a lot of it. Put you out, remember?
Yeah, you can
That's what it's like.
A lot of people don't get chances, you know. And I think if a lot more people were more open to actually be helpful and gave people chances, you know.
To just be more human.
Because he didn't know me, and he gave me a chance. Have I disappointed you yet?
Not completely, no.
See, and for me, like I had a job, I had a house, car, and everything, you know, and it just took one wrong circumstance, you know, for me to lose it all. I mean, you can lose it all in the blink of an eye. You get out of work, you can't pay your bills. Next thing you know, you're out on the streets, and then to really come back from that sometimes is really hard.
Like when I was married for 14 years, never had ever thought I would ever face homelessness, ever. He was able to afford a lawyer. I did not have a job because he wouldn't allow me to work the whole 14 years that we were married. He hired a really good lawyer, and I couldn't afford anything. So when the divorce was done, his lawyer came and she collected the keys to my car and my cell phone. And I was like astonished, and I was like, that didn't just happen. And so she had to show me in the paperwork where I had signed, and didn't know I had signed over everything that I had, everything, to him.
I tell people I'm not homeless. I'm in a homeless circumstance.
Yeah, there you go.
Because, you know, homelessness, especially in the minds of these people here, it's a whole stigma.
Yeah.
And you'd be surprised how people react to you the moment they find out that you're homeless if you don't immediately look homeless.
You have signs on your windows that said no public restrooms available. You got those freaking signs that the city manager put up that said public restrooms at Quakertown Park. When they put those signs up, those bathrooms have been locked for a year.
Because things get so twisted when you're living on the streets, I think people too easily see those living differently from them as a different species. That's no way for measuring a part of humanity. If you look at everything mentally and psychologically as being on a spectrum, everyone has something going on or whatnot. You want to see how any of our own neurodivergence gets exacerbated, you throw in desperation. So I would say it's the circumstances around them more than the people that cause this sort of thing. I mean, people make their own choices. They have the capacity to make their own choices, yes, but you got to understand just how difficult those choices can be when you're on the streets.
They need help readjusting away from what they've known to back to what they might have known at one time. I think another problem is most of these agencies are not trained on homelessness, and there's an online training that's amazing. And so they don't know the figures. When you have a city official who makes shit up, I mean, when that person is talking, you can tell she's making it up as she's saying it, you know. And what do you do? Unless you've got somebody like me harping on you and educating you and telling you what the real problems are, and then the experts out there saying the exact opposite, you know, who are you going to listen to? Who am I? You know, one lone voice.
Yeah, and a lot of them people out there don't have any family whatsoever. A lot of them are not even from Denton.
Yeah.
Believe it or not. A lot of them are from
Valley View.
well, no, there's some they're from all the way up from
Yeah.
New York and Oklahoma,
Yeah.
and it's like, how did you end up here in Denton?
Yep.
And a lot of them, and I know personally, once you get to Denton, it's hard to get out. It is.
Yeah, everyone says that. Like, the homeless community is really, really hard to get out of Denton in the homeless community.
Other cities who actually do stuff, they have a city committee on homelessness, and they do stuff. We have a guy on our board who runs 2 tiny house villages in Bellingham, Washington. And his city has that, and they all coordinate, and they actually work, And they've got, Bellingham has less than 100,000 people in there, and they have 3 tiny house villages and several shelters.
So my name is Doug Gustafson, and in this capacity, I am chairman of Homes Now Not Later, a 501c3 nonprofit in Western Washington, Bellingham, Washington. We manage 2 tiny home villages in Bellingham for people experiencing homelessness, but we do so but they are self-managed, self-run, and we have no paid staff, and it's all volunteer. So probably I'd say about 180 people have come through out of over the years, and at about a 58% success rate. Now, what about the other 42%? That is a mix of, some people don't like the community living aspect, and they are like, okay, this isn't for me, and then you have like the other half of the group that was asked to leave for, like, they couldn't follow the rules, or they couldn't, like, we're talking like drug use or.
Sure. It's not a complicated issue, but it is involved, and it has simple solutions. I mean, we've been trying for 9 years to get this tiny house village built. We want to build 150 homes, and I have a plan that could solve homelessness here in 3 years, and was required to be in a meeting with a bunch of nonprofit heads and city officials, and I started to go on to explain my program of how it could be solved, and I got interrupted by the head of a big organization, and he wouldn't let me keep going because they don't want it solved. They're making money on it.
Okay, so there was quite a few roadblocks. At first, the city didn't want to work with us, and it was kind of an adversarial relationship. We were going to like city council meetings and stuff and being like, hey, you guys should let us set up, a village because we're trying to help people, and this is a problem, and they wouldn't do it. So what Jim did was he said, if you don't give us a village, we will set up a camp on City Hall. And then they did not want that, and then that's when the next day they contacted us and said they wanted to talk.
Because they believe these are lazy people who want to take advantage of people. And to be honest, because they're Republicans, they've got that attitude of that American independence, and if I can do it, you can do it. That's the problem. We're a red state. I'm sorry, that's the way it is. And I'm not a Democrat. I'm a Eisenhower Republican.
You don't want him. Then my wife went through 4 years of cancer off and on, and it finally took its toll, and she died June of this year. And then not too long after she passed, Cayleta come up to the door, and I got talking to him, noticed they was homeless. I said, you know what, I got 2 extra bedrooms, y'all stay here till you get your feet on the ground,
That was what led me into modeling, and thank God.
Couldn't be that you were pretty.
Because that's how that helped us out.
People are crossing the street automatically. I do I have a sign on me that says homeless or something?
When I finally gave in to God and said, okay, I'll do this, but I don't want it, that's when I got my education. I mean, I've had homeless people just show up at my door, you know? I mean, I'm supposed to be doing this, and I can't do anything less. And now I love them.
Sound pretty good?
Yeah, I'm all right.